Since I'm here at the Airsoft GI store in California, Cisco decided to ask me to pick 5 unique guns off the website. My name is Scott Hollenbeck, and I represent the US Airsoft channel here on YouTube, where I do reviews, third-person gameplay, countdowns to show off your custom builds, and all sorts of other things in between. And again, I'm here to show off 5 unique airsoft guns off of the Airsoft GI channel. Now, starting off with my first pick, we are not talking about this. We're talking about the Arcturus Centaur B. That was much more of an explosion than I thought. Now, there's a couple reasons why I picked this out. You see, I like ACRs and I like AKs, and this is a good mix match of both of those things. A few cool traits about the Centaur B is of course the M-LOK rail up front with the full-length pick rail up top so you can put whatever sight you want. And of course we have a micro switch trigger inside and an ACR lookalike stock with cutie sling slots all over it, and the other sling points on it are so tough it can take the full weight of the gun. I really like this piece, it really stands out, and it should confuse a few people out there who see it for the very first time. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about the Arcturus line, then be sure to check out this video by Airsoft GI as they go over a whole lot more than I can right now. Next up, my second pick is the Swiss Arms SG550 by G&G. This thing looks great, and it's very simple. You see, I like the SIG 552 as well, but the 550 with the full-length barrel and full-length handguard with the bipod, it just looks perfect. Just the way it is, it can go right in my collection. But of course, I'd want to put a nice big chonker scope on top. But just the way it sits right now, already a good looking piece. And it definitely, sooner or later, needs to be in my collection. And maybe in your collection as well. Next, we have 2 picks, and they're both fan favorites in the airsoft world and in the real steel world. First, we have the ASG Scorpion Evo 3A1. And then we have the Crytek Chris Vector AEG. Now, comparing and contrasting these two can be a little difficult because I love both of these. But when we start with the ASG Scorpion Evo, I love the tech inside. I love all the big controls. When the magazine runs dry, you have to hit the bolt release. There's so much great stuff about this thing. But when I look at the Vector, it just makes me feel a little bit different. I just love everything about it, especially the looks and especially this dual tone version. But does that make it better than how I feel about the aesthetics and the internals that are inside the ASG Scorpion? That's what makes things difficult. Now, putting down the Scorpion for a second and focusing on the Vector. Now, I just remember these both from Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 had the Vector, and it was also in Black Ops 2, just like the Scorpion. And both of these wrecked house with suppressors and rapid fire on them. But I used the Vector just a little bit more. I would use the Scorpion when I was getting completely destroyed and I just wanted to annoy people. But both of these are great choices, and I'm happy that I added them to my top 5. Now, what happens if you don't like one of the choices I've made so far? Well, that's why we added 2 honorable mentions, starting off with this ASG USW. It oddly reminds me of my CZP09. I like all the controls where they're placed. I like that it comes with the CO2 magazine, the side folding stock with the little latch to deploy it, and the pick rail up top so you can put a small sight like this RMR. And of course, we have threads at the end of the barrel, 14mm counterclockwise, so we can add on a tracer unit or a suppressor, but right now we have a Bravo tracer unit, and that's why I like it on this list of my top 5. Of course, there's a few more traits, but let's just move on. And for my second honorable mention, we have an even longer CZ Evo Scorpion. It's just the same exact thing, just with a longer handguard and a longer barrel, which should help out your accuracy and range just a little bit more. So that's both of our honorable mentions gone, and 4 awesome picks for this unique countdown. But what about my top pick? Well, it's definitely a standout piece. It's a classic. It's an LCT milled receivered AK-47S.
What the? That made it onto your list? That's like the most basic looking AK out there on the market. That's like the Mayoist AK, honestly. It just has like the little wire stock, but come on.
Have you really held this thing? The weight, how it feels, honestly, that wood just looks great. And so many people like the S version, just like me, especially if you can put a drum magazine underneath this thing. Now, let me break it down for you. This is the bad guy gun. This, in my opinion, is one of the best looking bank robbery style guns. And let me just tell you that you'll definitely pay for the quality that this particular one can boast. All steel construction, milled receiver. This thing is built like a rock. You can put this through a car window and nothing is going to happen to it. Now, what I would personally do with this is get some drum magazines to replace the old style magazine, get a really nice sling, and maybe get a duffel bag and fill that with some dollar bills with Cisco's face on it. Now, I personally have a few LCTs in my collection. I've got their G3 and an RPK and an AK-12 now thinking about it, but I still need AK-47S just like this one. So I think this is going to be sitting very nice and pretty at the very top of my list for unique guns I want to get off the Airsoft GI site and into my collection. And that was 5 unique guns that I want from the Airsoft GI website, but you didn't see many M4s. Okay, you only saw that one in the beginning, but don't let that discourage you from getting an M4 just because you didn't see one in my top 5. The reason why an M4 is great for beginners is because of all the parts support. If one goes down, it can be easily fixed and put right back on the field. You can get accessories, you can change it to whatever you like. So again, all because it's not in my collection doesn't mean getting an M4 is a very bad idea. It's one of the best ideas you can have as a beginner. But that's it from me. Be sure to be subscribed to the Airsoft GI YouTube channel. There's uploads every Wednesdays, Fridays, and live streams every Thursday. A whole bunch of good reasons to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Or you can come out and check out my channel, US Airsoft, here on YouTube. There'll be links in the description. Or you can follow me on Instagram at US Airsoft YouTube. But I guess that's everything I have to say. So until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, or in this case, from California, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time.